This is yet another Galaxy Note 10 that is showing the yellow triangle of can't charge, or whatever you want to call it. And these typically are going to go back to the NFC connector. And I'm not sure why, but there seems to be either a factory defect or just a whole lot of people being too rough with these. But for whatever reasons, they break off down here. You can see this one's just kind of moving around. Sometimes these pins will get pushed in too far and you can readjust them, but quite often you're going to have to go ahead and replace the entire connector. So I'm going to do that now, since in my last video I got lucky and didn't have to actually replace the entire thing. Most of the time you're going to, so we'll go ahead and do that right now. Fortunately, there are replacement parts available, and it actually uses the same connector that the Samsung batteries, I want to say from the Galaxy S6 all the way up to the Galaxy S9, if I remember correctly. This is the connector that's actually on the battery, not on the motherboard. So if you have some old batteries laying around, you can actually salvage these parts from there. And otherwise, I'll try to put a link down in the video description in case you want to buy some of these. They're pretty cheap. They're about $1 a piece, so not a big deal. Let's go ahead and get this thing off. A little too much flux there. Oh well. Yeah, I think we might need to go a little higher than 400. So I'm going to go 420. Make sure we're still on camera. Alright, so I guess 420, 430, either way you'll be fine. Go ahead and clean this up. I could use some new wick. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Still not a great board holder for these phones, or these motherboards, if you ask me. All right. Just good enough. Wow, that's a little much solder, don't you think? Didn't need all that. Wow. That was just sloppy. Not sure what happened there. Jesus. Try to do something on camera. And yeah, I know we bridged these two together. They're actually connected, but we don't need that going on there. Oh, that's going to be fun. Well, at least you get to see what happens when things don't go as planned. So I got the excess solder removed, but we still need to, just for the heck of it. As you can see, these are actually connected. They're on the same line, everything from here to here at least, but I'm going to go ahead and get this stuff off just to get it nice and factory looking. Still got a little excess, I'd say. I didn't mean to get that much solder by any measure. So let's see if we can clear this dude right here. Maybe just take a little more of that off. That's a lot of solder. First, we'll try it with heat. Sometimes you can just get it to stick like that. Clean the tip, come back, and as you can see, I'm going to be fighting that at the same time. Come on. Yeah. Alright, let's try it with some wick. A lot of times you can just pull it off with the tip, with the clean tip, because the solder will go towards the heat. We've got a bit much here that we're dealing with, so I'd have to come in here and try to soak it up, which is always fun, especially if it's on a ground, which I believe this is. I got most of it. There we go. So you see, we soaked up the majority, and then when you go back over it, it will stick to the iron. See, this is more of what I'm looking for right here, about that amount. We've got some excess here also that we can clear. Worst case scenario, you can always take a wick and grab a bit of this. Let's just take this off here. Alright, and then we'll spread this across with any luck. Didn't even have to add any flux this time. So that's looking pretty decent. Plenty to attach to. And we'll clean it once more. And there, we're ready to go. With our new piece, I'm going to flip this back around because for some reason I just like holding it at this angle. It makes it a little easier to work with. So let's find our part. And flux. And we should be okay, more than okay now at 420, because remember, we're using leaded solder, so we don't need things to get quite as hot as before to reach the melting point. Just kind of flow this a bit. And getting the part out of the package may be the most difficult. Right. So we want to be right about here, and hopefully it doesn't blow off the board. Let's see. You can see the flux, or the solder is actually liquefied. So give it just a bit of a nudge here. Whoops, a little less. And we should be fine like so. Now you can come in and touch these up. Obviously, it won't hurt. Might have to add a bit of solder. And the funny thing is, as is, it's better than when it came from the factory, in my opinion. But we'll still go in and just put a little extra, and I won't bore you with the details, but get down inside here, and most importantly, make sure to touch up anything that's connected to an actual circuit. So I think there's at least one pin on here that doesn't do anything. Oop, and try not to touch those adjacent capacitors so we don't end up having to remove any solder again. Which it looks like I'm doing anyways. Yeah, it's alright. Find an angle that works here. Yeah, hard to avoid touching anything that's close by, unfortunately. And we'll hit it with some hot air here just to kind of flow them out smoothly. But I think we've got enough solder at this point. Just hit this until you see the solder liquefy. That'll smooth things out. Especially on those anchors. There we go. Alright, so that looks a little more factory. Clean this up and we should be good to go.